InvestorIdeas.com podcast.
Good afternoon and welcome to another InvestorIdeas.com podcast looking at cannabis news, stocks to watch, as well as insights from thought leaders and experts. Today we're looking at announcements from Cannabis Growth Corporation trading on the TSX as Weed and New York Stock Exchange as CGC. CHOO TM trading on the CSE as CHOO and OTCQB as CHOOF. Aphria Incorporated trading on the TSX as APH and US OTC as APHQF, and Fin Canada Capital Corporation trading on the CSE as CALI. Starting with Cannabis Growth, who announced today that it's priced its previously announced offering of convertible senior notes due 2023. The company will issue $500 million aggregate principal amount of the notes. Cannabis Growth has granted the initial purchasers of the notes an option to purchase up to an additional $100 million aggregate principal amount of the notes. The offering was upside from the previously announced $400 million aggregate principal amount. Cohen and Company, LLC, and BMO Nesbitt Burns Incorporated are acting as joint booking running managers, and 8 Capital and Brian Gamier & Co. are acting as co-managers for this offering. Cannabis Growth has been advised by Green Star Canada Investment Limited Partnership, an affiliate of Constellation Brands Incorporated, that it intends to participate in the offering, and the remainder of the offering will be widely allocated to institutions primarily in the United States, Europe, as well as Canada. Next, we go to CHOO Trademark, an emerging fully integrated cannabis company who announced that today it is closing its acquisition of Specialty Medijuana Products Incorporated, pursuant to an amended and restated amalgamation agreement among CHOO, Arbutus Brands Incorporated, and International Tungsten Incorporated. The company announced the definitive agreement to effect the transaction in news release on March 19th of this year. With the transaction, CHOO will be enabled to acquire SMP, which has submitted to an AOR evidence package to the Health Canada and expects to receive its cultivation license at any time, as well as create significant synergies in operational infrastructure and expertise across multiple disciplines to drive strong growth potential, as well as significantly improve and advance operational scale and production capacity, and strengthen and accelerate CHOO's strategic direction as a fully integrated cannabis company representing a premier lifestyle brand in Canada. Next, going to Aphria Incorporated, who announced the appointment of Joel Tuguri as Vice President of Sales effective on June 18th of this year. Mr. Tuguri joins the company from Southern Glazers of Canada, where he was Vice President of Sales and Operations since 2013. And finally, we go to Fin Canada Capital Corporation, who announced its intention to raise $3 million by way of a non-brokered private placement of 10 million units at price of 30 cents per unit. Each unit will consist of 1 common share of Fin Canada and 1 common share purchase warrant. Each full warrant will be exercisable to acquire 1 common share of Fin Canada at an exercise price of 45 cents for 24 months from the date of closing on the private placement. Fin Canada has agreed to pay a cash finder's fee of 8% on the aggregate proceeds raised from subscription arranged by certain finders and to issue warrants equal to 8% of the aggregate subscriptions. Each warrant shall be exercisable for 1 common share at a price of 45 cents for a period of 24 months following the closing date of the private placement. The lead finder in the non-brokered private placement is Treview Capital Limited. That's all for today's podcast. Podcast is now a certified word trademark on the blockchain through Cognate Incorporated CM certification. If you'd like to be a guest or sponsor on this podcast, please contact InvestorIdeas.com. Investor Ideas reminds all listeners to read our disclaimers and disclosures on the InvestorIdeas.com website, and this podcast is not an endorsement to buy products or services or securities. Investors are reminded all investments involve risk and possible loss of investment.